Welcome to the Getting High with Grandma podcast. Today we've got something really special for you. Grandma's
Podcast?
Oh,
whatever. Go ahead. Sorry.
podcast, channel, whatever. Welcome to Getting High with Grandma. Today we got something really special for you. Grandma is gonna tell us how she got in trouble with the law. I'll just leave it at that. But before we jump into that, make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like our content. Feel free to leave us comments below, too. We love to hear comments and any suggestions. And if we're not sure about something, make sure to let us know.
And we'll even answer them.
Because we're stoned most of the time doing this, and I don't know.
Well,
It sounds logical.
Grandma's always stoned.
Yeah, Grandma is.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Grandma?
Very good. It's a good day. It's been a wonderful New Year's. Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year's.
Yeah, we took a little vacation, and I have to take another vacation. I'm going to Serbian Christmas. Let all my relatives know. They've been telling me I should. These stories have been meant to tell for many years. So we're finally telling them, and today's the day. We're going to explain the gravy train.
The gravy train.
The gravy train, that's what I called it, yes.
So, just to, if this is your first time watching it, just a real quick setup to what we're going to get into. Grandma was a merchant marine for 12 years?
Yes, almost.
From the time she was 17. And yeah, I'll let you take it from there.
Yes, well, the gravy train. As I was saying in our previous ones, and yes, you got to watch the previous ones because it'll help you understand a little more. Kind of been doing things in chronological order, and
They're still entertaining.
You got to do something while you're stoned. So anyway, we're on the gravy train. I decided, as a merchant marine, first of all, everywhere I went, I brought back pot with me because that was my drug of choice. Okay? But, it's not very lucrative money-wise.
Did you have to go through customs?
Oh, yeah. Well, it'd be anytime we pulled into an American port, before anybody is allowed off the ship, customs come on and they search the ship, and then you can get off. Otherwise, not until. Okay.
That's sketchy.
It's very high pressure. Very high pressure. But weed was important to me.
Was it cheaper elsewhere?
It's always cheaper elsewhere, and of course they had exotic. Even in the Orient, they had Thai stick, and it was very good weed. So I always brought back weed, and to me there was just no question in mind. I was going to do it because, again, that was my drug of choice, and so there it is there. But there was no money to be made because when it's your drug of choice, guess what?
Yeah.
You're smoking up all your profits, baby. So anyway.
Did that go out?
Probably.
I'll get it going.
Once I decided to sign on going down to South America, the weed down there, again, was way better than the Mexican shit we used to get. Okay.
They used to pop?
Oh, yeah, it was stems and seeds, and, it'd take you all day to clean an ounce. But it was very good pot that I found, and I was very comfortable with asking for it. I don't know why. I just was.
You're naturally a sociable person, then.
Yeah, and weed, in my mind, has always been the lesser of all evils. All evils, okay? Especially alcohol. But anyway, so I was always buying weed and bringing weed home. And then I decided the Merchant Marines, like I said previously, I knew they were falling apart. The Merchant Marine was going to end. Okay, my whole motive was to make enough money to buy a house. Okay, so the big search down in South America was for cocaine.
Where did you go? Like, what countries?
Oh, we went around the whole thing. Went down the West Coast and through the Panama Canal, down the East Coast to South America. We hit Bolivia, Ecuador, all of them. Then we went through the Magellan Straits, it was called.
I've heard of them.
Down at the tip. It was so strange to be in South America where it's hot and warm and humid, and then all of a sudden when you go through the Straits of Magellan, it's ice. They have penguins and shit down there.
Where is it?
It's at the bottom of the tip of South America.
Like Chile?
Below Chile. Okay,
Wow.
and it's called the Straits of Magellan. There's a little slice in the land, so instead of having to go all the way around the tip, you were able to cut through. Okay, and now you're on the west coast of South America, and we went up the west coast, and guess where we got to stop? Peru. Well, and Bolivia was even better. Bolivia was just as good as Peru, if not better. Okay,
A lot of those countries manufacture cocaine.
I'm sure they do.
Colombia, Nicaragua.
So now, since I'm mindset to find cocaine, that was a little scarier to ask for because the South American countries were known for the cocaine, and so everybody's on high alert. So,
Was it illegal there?
no.
It's not illegal. That's like their major
Oh,
export.
no, it's illegal.
Oh, it is?
Oh, sure, but they're not going to stop. You know what? Here's what woke my mind up to a lot of things. We met this guy who was going to cop for us one time in Bolivia. And when our transaction was done, I offered him some. And he looked at me and laughed. He says, you know what? He says, they don't even do those drugs. Okay? All those drugs mean to them is money, especially American money. And he told me, he says, anytime they want to get rid of drugs, because mind you, there's many ships in and out of these ports, so they're from all over the world. But they know if they have drugs to get rid of, all they have to do is find an American, because Americans will buy all drugs, is what they say. And I found that fascinating.
We have more
You know.
money.
Well, yeah, and what is it about our character?
Exactly.
And but then again, being in other countries, I've realized too that you can have a drug bust here and there and maybe get probation. Depends on how much money you got. If you get a good lawyer, you're out, this, that. But, they don't fuck around. If they want to, if they arrest you in a foreign country,
Oh, yeah.
you're going down, and it's not a pleasant.
You ever seen that Locked Up Abroad show?
No.
It's about people who get locked up in like third world countries and stuff. It's crazy.
Well, yeah. So to them, it's, not worth the risk. So it's not like it's running rampant. You still have to search for it and hunt for it just like you do at home. So anyway, I had this roommate. His name was Pig. They called him Pig, okay? And he was a black gentleman and an older black gentleman. I'm going to say he was in his 50s while
Okay.
I was 20 maybe, and Pig never talked to anybody.
And this was on the ship.
This is on the ship. He was a steward. His job was to mop the hallways and janitorial, okay? So anyway, but if you talked to the man or said hello to the man, the most you would get out of him is, okay? He never spoke. Never spoke. Not to me. I was his roommate. I swear to God, I'm not even sure he was aware that he was rooming with the female. He was that out of it.
Simple, like
Simple-minded and, well, I thought simple-minded. Okay, mistake on my part. I thought he was simple-minded. I thought he was, I knew he smoked weed, you know. He smoked weed with me. That was not, I thought he was brain fried, basically.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I just, you know.
a lot of people know someone like that.
Yeah, and he did his job, and you know, his job consisted of nighttime work, so it's not like and mine was daytime, and so it was come and go as far as being in the room together. Okay, but he would mumble all the time and just mumble. And I thought, Jesus, this is really weird. I mean, I'm spending months
Yeah.
in a room with this guy, right? And so when we were down in South America, I asked him, he was mumbling about going out to cop, right? And I says to him, can you get me some? You know, and he just mumbled. So,
Coke, right? We're talking about Coke or weed?
well, I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I see.
didn't know.
You're just like, whatever.
Again, I'm young. I'm dependent on some of these guys for different things, and you know, and so.
You're interested in trying new things.
Yeah, I didn't care what he got. I was hoping for cocaine because I could tell he was. Again, I've been around the drug world. I could tell that he was loaded. Okay. I didn't understand the mumble thing because most people on cocaine, you can't shut them up.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, so he started mumbling about he's going to go out and he's going to go score and this and that. And I said, can you get me some? And I handed him $300 because that's all I had. And
You're like, I'm getting as much as I can.
Yeah, I didn't know, you know, whatever. So anyway, he came back with a freaking ounce of cocaine that was paste. Okay?
100%.
It was, well, we didn't have anything to test this shit, but I was a little irritated because
It was paste.
I had never seen cocaine in paste form. And it was a different color, and I kept trying to ask him
What color was it?
It was
Off-white?
it was like almost a brownish yellow.
Yeah.
You know, and I kept asking him, what the fuck, right? It's not like I couldn't snort it and test it.
Did you taste some at least?
I did. I put some in what I was doing so I can at least get wired was I was putting in a little dab in my coffee.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay, and so because I didn't know what else to do with this paste, and I never saw him. Once he copped, I never saw him get high on cocaine in our room. Never. I never even seen his shit. Okay, so I don't know whether he got me bunked, this, that, but it was sure good shit, right? So
Fucking paste. That's crazy.
I get this home. I don't know how I'm going to get it home.
Oh, yeah. Like, how big is it? Like, what's it look like?
Well, an ounce was probably a package about this size, you know. But again, and I had heard the guys, I wasn't the only, first of all, let's make one thing clear. I was not the only person bringing back drugs, whether it was pot or
other stuff even.
or other cocaine or other. A lot of them. First of all, they were when we brought this cocaine back for the first time. You know, I made many trips. They were fighting over the refrigerator. The cooks and stewards department had control of the kitchens. Okay, they were fighting over the refrigerators, and from what I heard was that once we crossed the equator, the temperature change will fuck up the quality of your shit unless you keep it cold. Okay?
At a constant.
That's what I kept thinking, and I don't know because who am I going to ask, right? I'd ask pig about it, and all I got out of him was, you know. And so I'm panicking, and I didn't want to fight with the cooks and stewards over there. Refrigerators. I mean, they kind of got seniority over me anyway, you know. So what I did was I found this piping out on the deck, and I took it down to the machine shop, and I asked the guy to thread both ends of this pipe and make caps for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, after hearing about me flying kites and everything else, nobody asked anything, you know what I'm saying? So he gives me this piece of pipe, and what I did was I put the cocaine in this pipe, and I put the two ends on, and then I dipped it in paint on one end and let it dry, and then I took the other end and dipped it in paint and let it dry. And what I did was I just threw this piece of piping out on the deck of the ship. Now, when we go to pull in port and customs are going to come on, before customs even comes on, the captain makes a swoop of his ship to make sure everything is in order, and he tells me, clean up that deck. I said, yes, sir. And I went and picked up my piece of piping and took it to my room, and I stuck it. I don't know what made me think of this, but I stuck it in the air vent. Okay, we had
the duct,
the air ducts. Yes, because it's central heat and air.
Yeah.
Okay.
That seems like an obvious place to look, though, if you're customs.
Well, what I did was I stuck my hand into the piping, and it took a left turn, and I just stuck the pipe, and I just left it there, because even if they found it, I was gonna play the dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell that got there. Okay, and then the old merchant marine law was this: never help anybody carry their baggage off the ship, because whoever puts their foot on land is who's responsible for who's in that luggage. Okay, so do not help anybody carry their luggage, because you don't know what's in it. Okay, I'm sure they do the same with the planes now. They tell you not to carry anybody's luggage because you don't know what's in it, and you're responsible. Okay, so I figured if they found it, I was playing stupid. Well, then, that was another trip. I'll tell you about that later. But I just panicked. I took a chance. And what I did when I got off the ship, went to get off the ship since customs didn't find it, I stuck it in my luggage.
How long would it take them?
Customs?
Yeah.
Probably, maybe, it depended. You know, if we were in L.A., sometimes they paid them off to just hurry up, because, again, it's just like trucking or anything else.
Time
the
is
fast
money.
Time is money, right? So what I did was I waited till everybody else was off the ship, and I waited at the top of the gangplank, and the longshoremen are asking me, can you need a ride? I said, yeah, can you call me a cab? I didn't have a car, you know? So, they called me a cab, and I fucking let the cab driver carry it.
Fucking genius.
So, that was my first.
That was genius.
Yes.
Wow.
So that was my first experience. There were many more.
Real quick, how many trips do you think you've done? Smuggling.
With cocaine, 4, 5, 4.
4?
4.
Okay. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Whoops. Sorry.
Welcome back to Getting High with Grandma. This is part 2 of Grandma's story on how she was a cocaine trafficker.
I was a petty smuggler.
Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll get back into it. Where we left off, which was genius, you called a cab and had the cab driver.
The poor cab driver. Yeah. Since the rule was whoever carried it off is responsible, I let the cab driver do it. Now, here was the problem. The problem was this stuff was like paste, okay? And it's not. We had done cocaine on the streets, and it was not.
It was powder.
What we had done, it wasn't powder, it wasn't crystal, and I didn't know what to do with it, okay? But,
it's 100% pure.
Well,
probably more.
According to the courts, it was 97%. But anyway, I didn't know what to do with it, so I hit my sister up, and I'm asking her, what can we do? How can we make this powder? Okay, and we didn't want to ask too many people because, loose lips sink ships,
Pun intended.
Yeah, so we tried vitamin B12 powder, and that kind of worked, but...
Where'd you get the powder?
From the health food store.
Could you buy like a...
Yeah, you could buy vitamin B12.
Like a big...
Yeah, you could buy a big container. Even
I pictured
today.
you like taking capsules and like...
No. Oh, come on. Boy, Scott, you'd be at it for years. You'd never make any money. So...
Did it work?
It worked, but not to my satisfaction. So what I was doing was packaging it up in grams and selling it in the bars that I worked at. So that went real well, and everybody really liked it, and the word got out. And the next thing I know, I'd mentioned before that on Mission Street there were a lot of Italians that were bookmakers, and little did I know they were drug dealers too, because they used to talk bad about all the druggies. But anyway, they approached me in the bar, and they told me, "You cannot sell this stuff like this." I said, "What?" And again, I only had an ounce the first trip. And he said to me, he goes, "It's obvious you don't know what you're doing." I says, "I don't know what I'm doing, but I
How old were you?
I know it's worth some money. I'm 18, maybe 19, And that was my first trip. So, yeah, I was probably 18, 19. Wow. And I told him, I says, "You know what?" He says, "You're really creating a problem because it's outbeating what's on the streets, and you can't do this." I said, "Well, there's a simple solution to that." He says, "What's that?" I said, "Buy it all. Buy it all from me." And he says, "Well, you understand we're going to have to cut this." I said, "I don't care what you do with it."
You should be happy you have to cut it.
He says, "How much do you want?" I told him $3,000. I had no idea. All I knew was...
and that's just because you were figuring an ounce.
Yeah, $3,000 an ounce. I figured I paid $300 an ounce. It's worth $3,000 an ounce. And without batting an eye, he said, "Gone. Done." And he says, "And if you bring any more back, I will take any and all that you bring." And he set me up with a bodyguard who was supposed to meet me at the ship each time I made a trip and deliver these drugs to the mob. Okay?
Wow.
And that's another story
that's crazy.
Get into. Yeah.
So what's the most you've ever brought back?
The most I ever brought back was 4 ounces at a time.
How much is a kilo?
I don't know. 18, I think.
Okay.
I think.
And was it always paste?
It was always paste when I got it.
Yeah.
And it was paste when they got it. Okay? I never cut it. I never touched it. Didn't want to. It seemed to me like this was an easy handoff. Okay?
Did you keep some?
I always kept some.
Paste?
I always kept an ounce for me, and that was to sell and party with in the bars I worked at.
Could you tell a big difference between the stuff you'd normally done?
You want to hear something really funny? We did regular street cocaine, okay, and it was very good. It was very good. My stuff, once it was cut, was even better. And what I figured out was, yes, cocaine's addicting, but I turned people onto it when it was in paste form. And it was like, they didn't get the high they were expecting. They were expecting a wired high.
Yeah.
Okay? And what you were getting was more of a euphoric high. So,
Body high.
in actuality, the vitamin B12 is what stimulated people. That's what was addicting, was the vitamin B12, and it blew my mind that I had preference. Here's paste, here's B12, and well, of course I wasn't telling them it's B12,
Yeah.
but it was cut there. Here's the cut stuff, here's the paste stuff, and they preferred the cut.
Wow.
Yeah, very interesting.
Crazy. And it's just a vitamin.
And it's just a vitamin. Well, I had heard, I had asked a few people, and one person was telling me to cut it with baby laxative, and I'm going, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. That just didn't even sound good, okay? But I understood it took, through years of experimenting, I understood that laxative feeling gave you that same stimulation, okay? But in my mind, it was healthier to put vitamin B12 in your system than a baby laxative, okay? No.
Yeah. I knew about the baby laxative. I figured that's why every time you do a bump, you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's part of the stimulation that you get too. It stimulates your whole body, and that's what it does. So now, that was my first trip, and I met my bodyguard.
So, wait. On this first trip, that ounce, you sold it.
I sold it.
All by yourself, and then the mob came to you after that.
No, they bought the full ounce from me.
Oh, so they heard as soon as you started selling it.
As soon as I started selling it. And I told them it wasn't a full ounce because I had already dipped into it here and there and here and there. Right?
Wow.
They didn't care. They just wanted it off the streets. They wanted it in their hands.
Made a fortune too.
I'm sure they did, because what I was told later on was they cut it 50-50. So
doubled.
Yeah. So my little $3,000 made them $6,000.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
Yeah,
okay.
if not more.
So, in between trips, how long?
It was 7 months on, 5 months off.
Okay.
So during those 5 months, what I did was I bartended. And while I was bartending, I would sell my issue. Okay.
And you were just stacking your money.
It's stacking my money, because my whole goal was I wanted to buy a home. I wanted stability. I wanted security. And I was always taught the only way you get that is to own your own home. So you're not renting and moving and renting and moving and renting and moving. So I wanted to buy my first home. Now, I also understood, as I started accumulating this money, that San Francisco was not going to be it. I don't care how much. You're not going to afford a home in San Francisco, okay? So
it's like living in Manhattan.
Yeah, so on my way, but I had to make quite a few more trips before I was secure enough to do that.
So 5 months off, you got set up with the mob.
Got set up with Mom.
You were bartending, you got your money stacked, you go on another trip, right?
I went on another trip down to South America. Pig was with me.
Okay.
He was a good guy. He was weird. This guy was funny. He had a wife in Oakland. He had a wife in Valparaiso, Chile. And he had a wife in Callao, Peru. And all I could, because I never could get an answer out of the dude, okay? All I could figure out was that it was cheaper for him to have a wife in ports and give this wife some money and have a woman to be with and
A regular place to stay.
And
Wow.
you know,
Kind of smart.
well, yeah, kind of smart. I figured he made, if he was doing this for years, he had to have made bank, okay? But then again, not if you're supporting 3 wives, so who knows, you know?
Wow. So every time you did a shipment or whatever, did you have to go through pig?
I went through him twice.
Okay. And then after
Okay,
that, yeah.
and after that, I was on my own. You know, the second trip I made, I brought back 3 ounces. You know,
Wow.
and
$900?
it cost me $900.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
But it was
And it's paced.
it was $9,000 to them.
So you're
Okay.
you're sitting on $9,000.
I'm sitting on $9,000, and I didn't have to run the streets to find it. Okay, they made it very easy by having Bear was his name. Well, his real name was James Marler.
Your bodyguard?
The bodyguard, you know, and they made it very easy. We called him Bear because he looked like a big old grizzly bear. And
That couldn't have worked out better for you because
it
takes you out of the chance of getting busted.
It was perfect for me because I made him carry the bag off the ship too, okay?
That's so funny.
Hey, every man for themselves, okay? He was an addict. He didn't care. I think I spoke of him earlier. He was a robber, you know, robbed banks, robbed liquor stores. I think he just liked being in the pen. But
Yeah.
anyway.
So, hey, you want to wrap this up and then
Yes, we will, and we'll continue on. And
the
we'll,
next one, I'm going to do this in parts because there's so much to unwrap.
oh gosh, is there
It's fascinating, though.
fascinating?
I picture little movies playing in my head when you're talking.
It's
I can picture
it
it.
was. I want y'all to know it was a lot of work. Okay, it may sound easy, but it was a lot of work and a lot of stress, and it was worth way more than I made. So, with that, we will continue.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to tune in to part 2. It gets even better. All right.
Ciao.
Bye.